Hey everybody, it's Alex Driscoll from Sweet Georgia Sports, and today we're coming at you with player projections for two of the most exciting guys on the Atlanta Braves coming in to 2017. Those guys are Freddie Freeman and Dansby Swanson. And what we're doing is we're doing player projections. We're going to take last year's stats, projected stats from Fangraph's depth charts projection, which is one of the most accurate projection engines or sites, whatever you may have it, and my projections as well. And so without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting off with Freddie Freeman. Last year in 2016, he hit 302, on base percentage was 400, slugging percentage was 569. He set a career in home runs with 34 home runs. It was a career high for him. He had 91 RBIs. Weighted runs created plus, it measures how many runs you created and not necessarily drove in, and it adjusted it to all the ballparks you played in that year, with 100 being league average, no higher, no below. 100 is league average, and his weighted runs created plus was 152, and so that is off the charts good. That is amazing right there. And his WAR, which is wins above replacement, basically measures how many wins you bring to the table for your team. It was 6.1, and usually a number north of 5 wins above replacement is an MVP caliber type year. I think if Freddie Freeman were on any other team in the National League except for the Reds, the Brewers, and maybe the Diamondbacks, he probably would have won MVP last year, as well as the Braves. I mean, because we weren't very good. We were very good coming down the stretch. But if he was on any other team besides the Braves, probably the Reds, the Brewers, and the Diamondbacks, he most definitely would have won MVP. And so now let's get into this year's projections. I mean, Fangraphs, their depth chart engine site, whatever you want to call it, they actually have him batting at 278, his on base percentage of 380, a slugging percentage of 495, only 27 home runs, 90 RBIs, which is one down from this past season. His weighted runs created plus, is 131, and his WAR is almost down 3 points at 3.8. I think that's cheating Freddie Freeman just a bit. I think it's blackballing him a little bit right there, because Freddie Freeman has been one of the most consistent baseball players and one of the most underrated baseball players as well since he's coming into the league, and since his full first year in 2011, when he finished second in the Rookie of the Year voting, right behind Craig Kimbrell, who had an ungodly year as a rookie closer, probably one that we never see ever again. But since 2011, he's been one of the most consistent players when he's healthy. And most of the time he's healthy. I mean, he tries to play every single game. He tries to play 162 games every single year. And he's the face of the franchise, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He had a career year in 2016, so there could be some projection sites that since he had a career year, he could have some regression right there, but not to the point where it's going to raise any red flags at all. If he weren't on the Braves last season, and was on a contending team, he probably would have gave Chris Bryant a run for his money in the MVP race. In my opinion, he's overshadowed by guys like Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Paul Goldschmidt, and Miguel Cabrera, respectively. I mean, those guys are just complete superstars and just uber good. I mean, just ridiculously good. But with the Braves moving into SunTrust Park, Freeman could see a spike in his usual offensive numbers. Due to how SunTrust Park is set up, it's going to favor him more because he hits gap to gap most of the time, and it's really good gap to gap power. Also, his RBIs and his weighted runs created plus numbers could jump, because the Braves have a much more balanced lineup in 2017. So with that, expect Freddie to be Freddie and to be the guy who will be the main run producer in this Atlanta lineup. He'll probably bat third. So there's Freddie's stuff. Now let's move on to Dansby Swanson. In 2016, Dansby Swanson, like Freddie, hit 302, His on-base percentage was .361. His slugging percentage was .442. He only had 3 home runs, but he got called up in August. His RBI, he had 17 RBIs. Weighted runs created plus was 107, and his WAR was 0.8, so it was almost one more. He almost brought one win to the table per game he was in. In depth charts for Fangraphs, they are, again, in my opinion, they're blackballing the crap out of Dansby right here. Their projections have him at 256, on-base percentage of .322, slugging percentage of .399, only 13 home runs, only 65 RBIs. Weighted runs created plus 91 and only a 2.2 WAR. I seriously think that is cheating Dansby out of what was a great showing last year, even though he got caught up in late August. But he proved to me that he can be an everyday shortstop and can potentially be a perennial all-star. I think he's got my vote this year, just already going this season, that he'll be, Rookie of the Year this year. I mean, there's really no competition because Corey Seager used up his prospect status, and Corey Seager will probably have a good chance of winning the MVP this year out in Los Angeles with the Dodgers. But anyway, my projections, I have him coming down a little bit from his average. I have him at 273. His on-base percentage is still going to be pretty high for me because Dansby is a very, very patient hitter. He knows the strike zone very well. He knows what he can and can't hit. And so for on-base, I have him at 354. His slugging at 411 because he doesn't have the best power right now. But I think that should develop more as he gets more experience up in the shows. For home runs, I think he'll have 16. Again, that's only 3 up. That's 3 up from depth chart projections, and that's 13 more than he had in 2016. That's probably just going to be because he'll have more time. And I think with the way he hits the ball, like Freddie Freeman, it's just gap to gap more. I think he has great gap to gap power and can consistently hit the gaps. Weighted runs created plus, I think he'll have right at league average. I think he'll have 100. His WAR, I think, will be 3.2, which is all-star level pretty much. And I think he'll win Rookie of the Year. I mean, no question about it. Dansby's the future of the franchise. He maintained his rookie status. He only had 129 official at bats. So he'll probably win Rookie of the Year in the National League. He proved he can be an offensive force in the lineup, but he had a 383 BABIP, which BABIP is batting average on balls in play, and it measures almost kind of how lucky you are and how, if it's a lower number, you're due for some progression and for your numbers to be a bit higher. If it's high, like 383, that means you're probably due for some regression and your numbers to be lower. So he is due for some regression this year, but nonetheless, look for Dansby to be his usual patient self at the plate, not force the issue, and he'll probably more than likely bat second or sixth in the lineup. So, we're not going to ask him to do much. We're just going to ask him to be consistent at the plate and just flash the leather over there at shortstop and in the middle infield with Brandon Phillips, because that's what he is right now. He's a defensive first type of guy, but if he continues to develop the way that I see and the way that he can, Dansby Swanson will be an all-around player for the Atlanta Braves for a very, very long time. And so with that being said, that's going to wrap up the player projections for Freddie Freeman and Dansby Swanson. If you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more from Sweet Georgia Sports, we have videos on the Hawks and the Falcons as well. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. And if you feel like it, go ahead, comment what you think your projections for Freddie and Dansby this year will be in 2017. So with that, I'm Alex Driscoll from Sweet Georgia Sports saying goodbye. Catch you in the next video. God bless, and chop on, Atlanta.